allow me to start off by asking you guys, did you have a chance to experience catalepsy? Yeah? You've been both ways, everyone? Yes. Any difficulties or anything interesting that happened? Go ahead.
We were working together. And
yeah.
I was, attempting to induce a catalepsy, and he said it felt rigid, but it didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So it was here.
Yeah, I understand. So anyone else got something similar? We'll come on to how that happened. Anyone else got something similar? I know it happened over here with one lady we worked with earlier on, but I don't think she's back yet, so we'll ignore that for a moment. So it can happen, right? It can happen that basically what you do to that at that point is one of two things. Either you accept it and move on. In other words, you use that as part of whatever you're doing. It's the utilization approach. Or the classical approach is you insist. Seriously, you insist more. If you can get enough of it, but it just doesn't stay, that means you're almost there. So you go, that's right, more of that. And you just insist. And you go, no, more of that. And sometimes they're really relaxed. You bring them out of hypnosis a little bit so that they're not quite as in a as deep or profound a state of relaxation. And then you can get the catalepsy. Do you mind if I share what happened with you there? Is it John? With the hand was it you we did the hand catalepsy on outside earlier on?
Yep.
Do you mind if we talk about that? Just so John was working with a lady, I don't think she's back yet. And John got really relaxed. Would that be fair to say? Actually, can someone give John a microphone? So John was in this wonderful trance, and it looked great. Actually, I was kind of a little envious when you were in there. And would it be fair to say you were pretty relaxed and feeling good in there?
Yes.
So then, we tried to get a catalepsy, and not much was happening, was it?
I don't think so.
No, from the outside I can tell you, nothing was going on. It's like, hunk, hunk. It's like, Christ, it has to happen in a seminar when I'm teaching, right? And what's going on there is that the person is in such a profound state, they don't want to shift states in order to be able to get the catalepsy. Would that, again, match what you're experiencing?
Did you say match what the experience was?
Match the experience that you had, yes.
I think she was doing a good job, but as I'd mentioned to you, she was not getting me where she wanted to go.
Exactly.
I had given control to her.
Mm-hmm.
She had not taken control.
Exactly.
So there was the big difference. I was there.
Do you hear all that? Do you hear that, guys? So then when, for example, when I switched in, and I didn't get the catalepsy at first, did I? So I kind of failed for the first. I failed, guys. And you paid me money. I'm a big failure. But you pay, I asked my money back too. Can I have some money back, please, someone? But then what happened? So the first, it was just very relaxed. So
well, I don't know that I would describe what you said as failed. You just took charge.
Okay.
The person that was working with me did not take charge,
mm-hmm.
and so that was not to insult what she was doing.
No, not at all.
But she did not take charge. You took charge, and then, of course, what you wanted occurred.
And actually, just to put the record straight, the lady who was working with him actually got the catalepsy in the end as well. So we went right back to the same condition, and she worked just as hard and got it. And then the key lesson is, and this is why, thank you for John for saying that, and the exact words he used are right. She did not take charge, or at least at first. I had to take charge, and I had to really insist. I had to work hard for it, because I wasn't getting what I wanted. And it's one of the key reasons why I like the fact that we're doing this bonus day first, because you get to learn about the other things that have to happen. One of the biggest weaknesses I've identified in the Ericksonian type movement, not in Erickson, but in the Ericksonian movement, and there are two different things, is that Ericksonians rely on this language and this nice stuff, which is all great, but to the extent that they lose that other factor, that sort of oomph factor. And Erickson clearly had it. And then there's no doubt that when he was talking, he was in control. He was in charge. And not control like, I control you now. Just like, in charge. This is what I want. Give me this. Right? It's not a tantrum you're throwing. It's not a power play. It's just, this is what we're doing now, so this is the experience I'd like.
Well, and like you said, it's not so much taking charge, it's having confidence in what you're doing.
Exactly.
And if she had more confidence, she would have been more confident. More confident would have led to her getting what she wanted quickly and faster,
right.
As what
and
you did.
Ultimately, she got it.
Yes.
So this is the key thing, guys. That was probably, but some of you witnessed it, so that was probably the hardest situation you'll ever come across, and she got it. I mean, in some respect, it's great for her because basically she's just had a trial by fire. She's had the worst thing that could possibly happen. And you know, it's no big deal. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Go ahead.
It seems to me that's a brute force approach, and I don't think you really need to do that. All I do is when I have a situation like that, I just say, could it be that there's a giant hand holding it up?
Right.
And, I mean, you can have a million variations on that.
Absolutely.
It makes it really easy. And there's no brute force involved.
I agree. I'm not, and by the way, this is important. I'm not advocating brute force. I'm not saying like you bully someone. It's just insisting, this is what I want, this is what I expect, and this is what we need to go forward. Now, in a regular therapeutic sort of session, I might even accept the fact that I'm not getting catalepsy and just move on. That's fine. It's just in terms of what is the outcome that either the client needs or that you need in terms of the situation that you're in. And when I say take charge or power, whatever it is, I don't mean power over someone. I don't mean like saying, you better do this or else, right? It's just more like being insistent, being persistent. It's like, no, that's what I want. This is it. That's it. You're getting it. There you go. Now, you've heard me do this, the same thing, a few times up here. Something in my shoulder, and what am I doing? That's it. That's it. More of that. That's it. All the way now. Now, I'm still taking control there. But am I being bullying anyway? Is it any brute force going on there? No. Do you kind of get the range that we're talking about? And this is an important part of being a hypnotist so that you can, because as a hypnotist, you're the person directing the experience. They're having the experience, yes. And you're going to work with what you've got there. But it's your job to direct the experience because the the attention part, that's your job. I'll come to you in a second if I may. Do you see what I mean with this? So it's good to know you can do it so that you know that you can... I mean, here's the classic place you'll need it, and we'll talk about this properly during the next week. Anyone here know what an ab reaction is? Yes. Basically, it's a strong emotional release, usually called ab reaction at the point when you don't want it, right? So at that point, to get someone out of that, you need you need the ability to insist, because their kind of a neurology wants to drag them down this path of whatever the feelings are which are negative. And there are times when that's appropriate, and if that's therapeutic, you go and do that, and that's fine. But to get them out of that, you have to be very insistent. You know, that scene fades, you feel the chair, you're relaxed, come back to the present. Come back to the present now. Coming back to the present, that's it. Coming back now, more and more. So you're kind of insisting you're running, but it's you who decides where the next bit of the action happens, unless, of course, you're creating open-ended suggestions where you want them to create the next piece of the action. But then you're still in control of the process. Does that make sense to everyone? Because this is a really key thing as far as I'm concerned. It's the difference between, in many respects, the great hypnotists and the so-so. You want to say something, Rashid?
Yes, I had a comment and a question. The comment was regarding what you just said. When Helen and I were doing this, she was taking me through on the trance portion, but when she was trying to get the catalepsy, I didn't feel like there was anything there. I thought that I could move my arm.
Sure.
She kept on doing it. And that persistent aspect that you said, when she finally had me open my eyes, it really was like I could keep my arm there it felt like the other arm was just laying there. I could have kept it there, but my conscious brain was saying, there's nothing there, nothing's happening. And I don't think anything was happening, but she kept on doing it, and that took it to the point. So that was a reinforcement of what you just said, because we experienced it. The other question was, there were two specific questions we had. One was, we noticed that when you were doing the little prodding...
Pokey thing?
Right.
That's the technical term, pokey.
Exactly. The question is, were you doing that on purpose on the tricep and the bicep? Is that to get both muscles?
Yeah, because remember, catalepsy is actually technically both muscle groups activated at the same time.
Okay.
Now, if I want arm levitation, which is the arm lifting, then I'll go more for the bicep, because that's what lifts the arm. If I want catalepsy, which is basically rigidity, then I'm going to go for both, because you want to have both. Technically, think about it now, I'll probably poke both a little as well, even if one lifting arm, because I first want catalepsy, and then I'll encourage one aspect of the catalepsy, which will be for levitation. But you're right, that's why I did it.
And the second part of the question was, when you were doing the lifting of the arm, had you already taken her out of trance and then just were doing that, or was she still in trance when you were doing that?
Who knows?
Okay, so
seriously, I could do it with someone who's wide awake, but then I'd do more things to be trancey to get that effect. In this case, she was, and actually almost anyone I do this with here, the context is much more trancey already, So I don't need as formal an induction. So yes, if this had been like a dinner party, I wouldn't just go and jiggle the hand because there's no context for that. I'd start off with the A-B part of what I'm doing to focus attention, maybe a little bit of breathing, look at the hand. As soon as I've created a context that's a little unusual and I have absorption of attention, then I'll do exactly what you saw me doing, because now you have a hypnotic context created again. But here we already have it. We're living and breathing it. So my job's a lot easier as a result. Does that answer your question?
I hope this is not a stupid question, but what is the purpose of catalepsy?
So the question is, what is the purpose of catalepsy? And really it's, well, for the purpose of why we're doing it here, it's just so you can do it. Because a lot of hypnotists know about it, but they're afraid of doing it. And I want you guys to realize nothing within the realm of hypnosis is difficult or scary. And even if you quote-unquote mess up and you don't get whatever thing you're going for, it's no big deal. It doesn't destroy the hypnosis. It doesn't make you a worse hypnotist. It's just, just a puzzle that you maybe have to work out later on. Now, you can actually use catalepsy very, very conveniently in many kind of therapeutic approaches. You can create it as a dissociation. It could be the stage 1 towards anesthesia, sort of pain control. I like to use catalepsy as the progression towards arm levitation, and use arm levitation as a lever, literally, into hypnotic processes. So the higher the arm goes, the better you feel. Or, the arm's only going to return as quickly as you're having a hypnotic dream with a solution to the problem, that sort of thing. So you can attach things to the phenomenon. In the old school, it used to be called a convincer. It just proves to the person that something weird's going on, because most people don't sit there like this and have arms go like that. That's not part of our normal range of experience. So when that happens, the person goes, "Oh, it's happening! This guy's good. This is really working for me." Right? You don't need it, but it's a nice convincer.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'll take the microphone, sir.
Can you tell me the difference?
Yeah, you have it. It's on.
Can you tell me the difference between anesthesia and analgesia?
Very good. So very quickly, the difference between analgesia and anesthesia is analgesia is a reduction of the pain signal. So you can sense things, you can feel touch, it just isn't painful. Anesthesia is just numbness. Like, you fall asleep on your arm and people can go, whack, and you go, did you touch me? I don't know. So one is absence of any sensation, the other one is just absence of the pain sensation. Anyone other? There's a question over here, I thought, briefly. No? Okay. So, any other comments on what you've done? Because otherwise we'll just draw a close.
How do you actually pronounce your last name?
Oh, my last name. With great difficulty, I have learned. The name is Ledochowski. The easiest way to pronounce it is if you take the C out in the middle and change the W for an F, that will phonetically work better for you guys. Ledochowski. You're very welcome. Got that on tape? Ledochowski. Anyone call me Ledochowski? It's over. So, let's move on.
Thank you, Igor.
Yeah. You and I are no longer friends. So let's move on. Again, just to get feedback on this point, at this point you should feel like pretty competent hypnotists. You can induce trance, you can do it quickly, you can do it in a pretty flashy and spectacular manner, and you can get a hypnotic response, a genuine, no messing about, hypnotic response that everyone can recognize and probably be quite impressed by. So if at this point you just left everything and you were done, your dinner parties from this point forward would get really interesting.